will talk less than her, but probably faster. I am the only Saletti left here out of all of them that came. My father, which was her brother, came from Bali in 1960. My mother from Alfetta on a boat, 30 days to get to this country. She came in 1958. I'm still here because I live in the apartment I grew up in, and that's always a fun fact when people say, oh, you live in Hoboken? I am from Hoboken, and that's how I can stay here because I'm in the same apartment for 52 years. So I thank my cousin Angela and her colleague Lena for including me. That was my post about, I don't know, how's the feast? No one's here. I don't know anybody. I don't see anybody. I live a few blocks away. Where is everybody? They come on feast day. They might come on the weekend. If you come on the weekend, you know there's no parking worse than there is on any regular day. So I am a college counselor. That has nothing to do with this right here. So I am the branch to the Hoboken BNRs, which are the born and raised. If you don't know that, we identify ourselves very well. Even if you've been here 40 years, we say you're not from here, sorry. Okay, so it's unfortunate, but it's the truth. So through the surveys and the interviews, this is some of the responses. So the preliminary findings of resident interviews. When asked, what do you think the impact of the Italian feast has been in Hoboken? Has it changed? This interviewer said, I think it has a positive influence on our town. The church does its best to keep the tradition going, reuniting the community in hopes of keeping faith alive, The biggest impact or change comes from gentrification and revitalizing of Hoboken. You don't see many generations of families anymore. I believe any old-time Hoboken people know that, and as my cousin Angela mentioned, on the day or the weekend of the feast, you will literally see people. I would see my mother's cousins who have not lived here 30 years, and they would all come, and it's really a beautiful thing. And that's for Madonna de Martiri, which is from Alfetta. Next. That's okay. Okay, when asked what the Hoboken feast means to them, this interviewer said, being a Hoboken BNR, it holds so many core memories, walking alongside my grandmother while she carried the saint on her shoulders during the procession, meeting up with my friends on the front steps of the church to compare our prizes for playing the games, choking in coffee on the powdered sugar when taking her first bite of a Zabel. So that's great for anybody, but that's truly something. This person, I almost feel like I know who this is, and has not lived here, but when you talk about traditions that, you know, people in your families did, I'll add like a special tidbit of something personal. I have a disabled brother who walked with the saint in the heat, with any saint, every year for the majority of his life before moving away and now moving back. He can't do that anymore. But something like, we were not people in church every single weekend, but that is something that's very Hoboken, very Italian, very Catholic. So just wanted to add that. Next time, thank you. Over time, St. Anne spelled right, I said, with the E, is the same. It's still popular. It still occupies the same place that it did then, which is big because we know that the Hoboken Italian Festival, the Madonna de Martiri Festival, has had to move down to the waterfront. It isn't as big as it was. Some years ago, it's bigger than it is now. We never get it right, but it was many more blocks. I don't know exactly how many blocks. The Madonna de Martiri moved uptown, which is not uptown, but on the waterfront. Now they call it the Hoboken Italian Festival. It's no longer called the Madonna de Martiri Feast. It's down on River Street. It's a different vibe than it was, but it's still very nice, I have to say. It's beautiful on the water. It's less of an Italian feast, in my opinion, of the interviewee rather. It's more of a Hoboken festival feast. The name is called Hoboken Festival, but it's different now. Back then it was much more deep in Italian culture back in my day. I would probably agree with that person, because when it was down Adams, right, on Adams Street, they do the best they can and they do a great job though. And I think if you're from here and you still come, you see that there's still a big connection, but yes, it is very different, as the Hoboken is very representative. Okay, next. Tell me when I start, because I don't know. Is that? Okay, when asked have you seen changes in the feast over time, obviously the answer is going to be yes. The decline in the religious part of it, there are less Italian here than before, less Mofi, so if you don't know what Mofi is, it's somebody from Ofetta, where my mom's from. Less people, so the new generation is not interested in the novena part, that's interesting. The new generation is not interested in that part. There's a large amount of people interested in the procession, in the street festival, and the fireworks, but there are less people. Thank you all.